The world of this story is a primitive world, where there are different, unpredictable, and mysterious creatures. The rule of survival of the fittest is at its peak here. Strong creatures feed on the weak. The story begins following this rule, when a large fish, similar to a shark, jumps out of the water of a lake to devour a poor deer that was nearby. But the protagonist of this story is stronger than the fish. He catches the fish and roasts it like a barbecue over a fire. Her name is Cinder, from the Fire Tribe. He tastes the roasted fish and finds the flavor to be quite good, although it lacks seasoning. However, he finds some good, ripe fruit, makes a good wine from it, and then prepares the fish according to his own recipe. He plans to mix meat and wine to produce a scent so delicious it will attract other animals. Thus, he will capture these animals and use them again as fishing bait, a way of taking small steps and forming an endless cycle while he stays at the top of the food chain. As planned, a lion-like animal smells the scent and is attracted to the food. As he approaches, he falls into a trap, a hole that our protagonist dug to capture monsters. Surprisingly, this feline can speak and asks who he is and how dare he attack him. Cinder is not arrogant like common protagonists. He is surprised to see the cat talking, and there is a reason for this reaction. Despite living in this primitive time, he is actually Yan Jin, a mechanical engineer in his original world. One day, he woke up and found himself in this place. Perhaps he died from engineering stress. He currently has no magical powers, as would be common for a protagonist. Somehow, this big cat manages to get out of the trap, so Cinder runs to the grilled fish for cover and comes back with a big piece of meat and bottles of wine. He offers these delicacies to the monster in exchange for his life. The cat takes the bait and smells the scent, but Cinder has a plan behind this. Taking the chance, he throws the plate at the cat to temporarily blind him, and then activates a trap that hits the cat with a wooden log. As the cat tries to recover, Cinder runs away, taking the roasted fish with her. The cat, now furious, runs after him. Cinder reaches the edge of a cliff and is trapped, but he doesn't give up the fish and jumps from a high point straight into the forest, taking his meal. The cat makes a confused expression as if thinking, "What is this idiot doing?" And surprisingly, a girl comes out of the cat costume. She is Matakia Blue of the Blue Tribe. Now she is determined to capture him at any cost. Her tribe mates also arrive, but stop at her command, which shows that she is an important person in her tribe. She jumps up to a tree branch and looks at the spot on the side of the hill. He asks the others about that place, and they answer that it is the Fire Tribe. She decides to stop by. Cinder is already there and observes a giant rhino, wondering where it came from. A young man from the tribe informs them that there is a joyful event taking place, and that Hua from the Great Tribe has brought special gifts. Huluka will personally perform the awakening ritual. Upon hearing this, Cinder runs to the ritual site and sees several people gathered. A fat guy named Blaze places a dead deer in a ritualistic circle, which surprises everyone. They hope that he will finally awaken to power, as he is the grandson of the Great Elder. Another tall boy, named Flam, appears with an injured antelope. He is also the grandson of another elder. This generates competition between them, and spectators place bets on which of the two will awaken power. Elder Aaron appears and talks to the two, saying that they cannot disappoint everyone. This ritual is important, and the great Akilu sent a Huluka to witness it. It seems that Huluka is a powerful and respected figure, as both boys are both excited and nervous. This elder then goes to Cinder and advises him to observe the ritual well. His father was a great artisan of stone tools, and he will inherit that glory. Then Thuka appears, a muscular guy who is a hit with all the girls. He carries a totem that weighs like the Burj Khalifa. He is a totem warrior and activates his power, revealing the image of a tiger on his back. He throws the totem into the air and jumps right on top of it, still in mid-flight. He then orders Flam to bring the 15-year-old children. He will preside over the awakening ritual as a totem warrior. Cinder thinks she still has 3 years to go until she turns 15 and takes part in the ritual. All the kids get together, and Huluka gives her boring speech, saying that they can only protect their tribe if they become totem warriors. A team of strong warriors can make the tribe prosper and fight against darkness. The pillar of the tribe's totem is its power, and it is from there that the spark of strength will be drawn and help them awaken their heist totem and all other totems. The ritual area goes up in flames with this strange ritual. Both Flam and Blaze become Super Saiyans, showing that they are awakened, which makes their parents excited. Cinder, on the other hand, is disgusted by these superstitious acts. Just as he is about to leave, blue energy is extracted from the totem and directed towards Cinder. Small spheres spin around him, and he wonders what they are. The elders are surprised to see that there is a third child who has also awakened. This flame is absorbed by him, and a symbol is engraved on his body, as with a totem warrior. The totem warrior had never seen a flame of that color before. He walks over to examine the energy and asks Cinder to release the spark, like the other idiots are doing in their Super Saiyan form. An elder informs her that Cinder is only 12 years old and still doesn't understand these things. The elder tells him to close his eyes and calm down. He has just awakened a spark and needs to be able to feel it. Following the instructions, Cinder closes her eyes and sees a calm, blue energy around her, but behind him is a black hole. He opens his eyes in fright. Of course, he is a man of culture and science. Pula asks if he felt the spark, but he denies it and says he only saw a black hole that swallows everything. Those primitive men don't even know what a black hole is, and the arrogant idiots interrupt him saying he's making it up because he hasn't woken up and felt nothing. These closed-minded people end up accepting that Cinder has not awakened. After all, he is only 12 years old, and no one has ever seen a blue flame before. They begin to suspect that Cinder's spark may be related to the darkness, as he mentioned seeing a black hole. The elder accepts these reasons and asks Huka to guide them to the light. Cinder is angered by their disbelief, and just as he is about to leave, Huluka comes forward to stop him with a punch. But the big cat Mattia appears and stops him. She is truly an important figure. As everyone in the tribe bows down to her, she transforms into human form, which scares Cinder to her core. Some observers are following Cinder through the water in a basin. A boy with blue hair is confused when he sees Cinder's form and doesn't understand what it is. The old man in the suspicious cloak pieces together the events involving Cinder and realizes that his prophecy has finally begun to come true. Cinder is the chosen one of a small tribe. The old man creates a portal and says it's time to act. Meanwhile, Huluka asks Mattia to do something with Cinder as he transmits negative energy. She asks Cinder if he knows who she is, and he responds that she is the great Mataka. Now she threatens him, asking what she will do to him. Cinder panics, but soon recovers, saying that she doesn't know what she will do. But one thing is certain, she won't be able to avenge Grandpa Alupa. This is the first time the villagers have heard this name. Cinder goes on to say that Alupa was a very kind person who once saved him from danger and, since then, has always shared her hunt with him. A month ago, Alupa appeared with an injured giant tiger and went to various places to seek treatment, regardless of the weather. But when the tiger recovered, he returned the kindness with hunger and devoured him. Cinder went to visit him and only found the old man's bones and the beast's footprints. Therefore, he swore that he would avenge his grandfather, Alupa. Obviously, he's another Pinocchio telling lies to gain the sympathy of the villagers, and somehow manages to fool them. But Matakia intervenes and asks if he attacked her because he wanted to avenge his grandfather, Alupa. Cinder's lies flow like a river and achieve nothing. The villagers think they are doomed now that he has attacked Matachia. Cinder continues talking to Matakia, admitting that she mistook her for the beast, and as a warrior, she will not justify her mistakes. He is willing to accept punishment for his mistake, but asks her to spare his people. The villagers are moved and say that he is a true warrior, even at such a young age. Matachia is confused, thinking that everyone now sees him as a warrior, which would make it difficult to punish him. Then she has an idea. She accepts that he is the true warrior of the Fire Tribe and says that she will punish him, but also reward him with Daru's eternal ritual. Poor Cinder has no idea what this strange ritual is, but the villagers are excited to hear about it. She introduces herself under the name Blue, daughter of the great Hikalu of the Azure tribe, and grants Cinder the right to participate in the ritual. The villagers run up to Cinder and throw her into the air in celebration. The first elder asks Blue which level is appropriate for Daru's eternal ritual. She responds that the ritual will be performed at the highest level, as Cinder has shown courage despite being so young, and the villagers bow down to her for such a kind act. Cinder asks them what the Daru ritual is, after all, and the first elder explains that the Daru ritual is the highest honor bestowed by Matakia. They had never had a Daru warrior in the village before, so he should kneel down and thank her, but she says he deserves such an honor and asks her boss to prepare a test. The first elder has high hopes for him and says that one can only become a true Daru warrior by passing a life and death test. Cinder is confused by the turn of things and looks at Blue's smug face, thinking that she is indirectly putting him in this situation. He panics thinking about the situation he is in now and asks if he can give up being a Daru warrior. Being a normal warrior isn't so bad either, but Aaron tries to persuade him and asks him to look at the hopeful eyes of the villagers. Everyone wants him to perform this ritual with his life. If he backs down now, he will insult Matakia and tarnish the name of the Fire Tribe. Even if she spares him, Aguru won't let him off so easily. No one gives Cinder a chance to say a word, and they push him to accept everything. There is a lake in front of him, full of scary fish with sharp teeth. Blue explains that he only needs to capture one Lurkish, and that it won't be much of a challenge for such an honorable warrior. It even seems too easy for Cinder, so he starts to find himself. He was worried for nothing, thinking it would be a life or death situation. But to his surprise, the villagers catch him and throw him directly into the river without letting him decide anything. He dives in and sees the scary fish coming towards him to turn him into a kebab, but he quickly gets out of the water and asks for help. They throw a piece of wood, and with that, he swims to the shore. But the villagers won't let him take a step, saying that the Fire Tribe is no place for cowards. Cinder says she's she's not giving up. She just wants some kind of weapon to catch the fish. A true warrior needs his own weapon, otherwise he will not be able to show his true strength. Blue also allows him to fetch a gun, so he happily runs off to look for one. For some reason, she's sure he wouldn't dare betray them and run away. He returns with lots of ropes, and the villagers start gossiping that he is a coward trying to do something with the ropes to escape. But he uses the rope to make a fishing rod, attach a piece of fish meat to the hook, and throw it into the water. As a result, a lurkfish bites the bait and he pulls the string back. He turns to Blue and says he caught the fish, so that must mean he passed the test, right? And he's right. He acted intelligently, not forcefully. Blue is surprised and asks how he managed to do that. He explains that this is called fishing. He made the hook using a deer's antlers, which are hard and impossible for lurkfish to break. Since the lurkfish loves meat, he used this weakness to lure it with a piece of meat attached to the hook. She understands now and thinks this method can help a common man catch fish. She asks if it is possible to catch any type of fish, and he says yes, as long as you know what type of meat the fish likes, and the size of the hook also matters. She starts thinking about the villagers. Whenever winter comes, the animals hibernate, and this causes food shortages. But if they can catch fish with this method, the problem will be solved. She then decides to try and throws the hook into the water. After waiting a while, following his instructions, she finally feels that a fish has taken the bait. He pulls hard, and without help, pulls out a king of the lurkishes with just his brute strength. Everyone is surprised, and Blue jumps with joy. A strange dew watches them from afar. An old man says that his prophecy about the unreachable fish has come true. Cinder looks at the king of Lurkia and finds him strange. He looks like an old king awaiting death, and feels like she has seen something like this before. Blue seems happy and says that hunting the 100 ancient beasts is the first step towards the land of prophecy, and his Blue tribe is ahead of the game. According to ancient prophecy, whoever captures the 100 beasts will enter the land of prophecy. Puluka says this prophecy was never fulfilled. But then a strange old man appears with a puppy at his side, saying that now she has been fulfilled. He is a wizard and makes the weak faint with his magical power, just like when Misijin visited the Fairy Tale Guild. Huluk goes into Super Saiyan mode and rushes to attack, but nothing works and he can't move. Blue understands the situation and stops everyone from attacking, and then he kneels before the old man named Dharam. The others, upon hearing that this old man is Dharam, also kneel down as if he were a great authority. Blue Cinder is surprised by everything and notices the symbol on the old man's cloak, which has a drawing of a bone oracle. He thinks for a moment and concludes that this old man is a wizard. Dharam, through magical water, has already realized that Blue was the one who captured the king of the fish, and that's why he gives him the chance to participate in the challenge of mountains and seas. Cinder finally remembers why she thought she had seen the king of lurkfish before. She heard about him in the legends of the mountains and seas in her world. This fish is also called Xtixi in these legendary stories. He is shocked to realize that this civilization has existed there for a long time. Blue is worried about Dharam, thinking his life might be cut short, but he doesn't care. He activates a spell that generates darkness, and several words begin to rotate around a center. Cinder is terrified because when she arrived in this world, she felt the power of darkness. Just thinking about it now gives her chills. No one knows what dwells in the darkness, but it is clear that something evil to the core is there. The only place that cannot be affected by darkness is where the sacred totems shine. Totem warriors receive their power from these totems and are duty-bound to fight against darkness. Cinder wonders why they worship this old man, since he is said to have the power of darkness and black holes. If it had been anyone else, they would have finished her off. But with this old man, they consider him great. Dharam reaches his limit and spits blood, but says everything is fine. He informs that only those under the age of 18 can participate in the challenge, and that if they complete the mission, they will earn another sacred totem. The elders are excited by the news and decide to try their best. If they get this totem, they will become much more powerful. The first elder boosts the morale of the young warriors, who respond with enthusiasm. Cinder, the modern guy, is scared by the spirit of these primitive guys. Dharam creates a portal, and the warriors must go through it to begin the challenge. Blue is the first to transform and enter the portal, followed by the Fire Tribe warriors. Cinder doesn't want to compete with these methodical guys, and is about to sneak out, but Elder Aaron bumps into him and asks why he isn't going. Cinder says that it is not mandatory to participate in the challenge, but Aaron tries to convince him with a somewhat absurd argument that he is a Daru warrior who went through the Daru ritual, and if he dies in the challenge, it will be an honorable death. Cinder resists, but those arrogant idiots step in, saying he's an embarrassment to the Fire Tribe and that he only passed the test with trickery. They grab him and take him to the portal by force. After everyone disappears into the portal, Dharam repeats the words of the prophecy and wonders who will be everyone's savior 10 years from now. The place looks the same as where they came from. The warriors say it is the darkness and believe, however faintly, that they have just awakened the spark. They can't fight the darkness yet. Flam tries to boost their morale by saying that this is just a challenge created by Dharam, not the real darkness. They hear that Blue has already passed the first level, which surprises Cinder and everyone else. Cinder then steps forward and gives an Irwin-style speech, saying that they are warriors and can defeat any monster or darkness. Your inner flame inspires others. He thinks that if Blue can pass the first test, then it shouldn't be that difficult. She has probably already defeated the monster at this level, but before he can move forward, those guys with big legs catch up to him and pass ahead, leaving a boy behind who can't keep up with him. But the kid gets lucky because those idiots come running back. A huge frog monster is after them. Cinder also begins to retreat and sees that 2 more monsters have joined the first. Warriors manage to enter a narrow path where monsters cannot enter because of their huge bodies. Cinder sees a claw mark on one of the monsters and concludes that Blue once fought it and left that mark. Flam proposes a plan. Divide into teams of 3. 2 groups will be responsible for distracting 2 monsters, while 1 team of awakened warriors will face the other to eliminate it first with all their power. Flam envelops his hands and face with the power of flames and charges forward. The others follow him. There are still 2 guys left on the ground, and Cinder helps them get up and continue. The modern guy is once again impressed by the spirit of those primitives and doesn't think about running away as if he were seeing food for the first time in years. Instead, he walks calmly and watches 2 injured monsters being pushed by inexperienced warriors. On the other hand, 2 awakened warriors are losing to just 1 monster. Cinder finds this strange. One of the groups of awakened warriors is acting strategically. Some hold back the monster's movements, while the awakened attack it with flaming palm strikes. Some of them attack with pointy sticks and, with effort, manage to defeat a monster. But strangely, this defeated monster splits into 2 more frogs, which surround them to attack. However, Flam does not lose his courage and passes it on to his companions to face the monsters. Despite this, their efforts are in vain, and both Flam and Blaz are unable to resist. Cinder observes the situation. He had already heard about Ringworm, but this was something completely different, even violating the law of conservation of energy. Something awakens in his mind, and he runs up the hill thinking the strong monster that managed to face 2 awakened warriors was weakened, like the other 2 common monsters, after splitting. Their size remains the same, but their strength decreases. If they continue dividing, they will become as weak as puppies. He starts throwing rocks at the monsters using the lever principle, and they split up again. Flam tries to stop him, saying that the monsters will multiply, but Cinder stands firm and proud, throwing more rocks at the monsters. The monsters multiply, and the brothers of the tribe think they will die an honorable death, as the enemies seem too strong to be defeated. Cinder stands before them and says an iconic phrase: "A true warrior always faces death." He provokes the monsters into coming to him. With a piece of wood, he hits the frog's head several times until he defeats him. The others are surprised and wonder how Cinder got so strong. He leaves the nearby monsters for the others to face and goes after the newly split monsters, which are weaker. You defeat everyone and pass the first level, leaving your companions behind. Blue is on the next level of the ordeal and faces statues. Whenever she moves, levers throw rocks at her, and the statues move to attack her. Luckily, Cinder also arrives at this level and sees Blue dealing with the row of statues. No one has ever managed to cross that barrier, and Dharam suspects that Blue is the strongest of all the participants. Therefore, he decides to give a hint about the core of the challenge. He was waiting for this day to identify the chosen one. Blue activates a strange spell, and several vine branches come out of the ground. She controls these vines to bring down the statues at once. They regenerate and keep coming back. With his fists, Blue destroys them repeatedly until he reaches his limit. She looks around and notices that all the statues are attacking her, except one, who is calmly sitting on a chair as if he were the king. Then, she activates an ability and creates a vine to approach the statue. Guards protect the king, but she transforms into an animal and advances until she destroys everyone, including the king. With that, Dharam announces that Blue has passed the second level. A blue-haired boy, who is next to Dharam, is excited to see her pass this level since no one has ever managed it. Dharam agrees that she could be the chosen one, but remembers that there is still the third level to define this. His helper suggests kicking Cinder out, saying he only passed the first level by luck. But Dharam says luck is also a great strength, and they should let him try the second level. Cinder notes that the statues don't move as long as he remains in the center. He takes a step, and a knight runs to attack him. When you go to the other side, a bishop comes towards you. He returns to the center and notices that the knight moves L and the bishop diagonally. His knowledge is useful. He understands that the moves follow those of a chessboard. He remains seated for 15 minutes while the blue-haired boy wonders why he doesn't move. The old man asks about Blue's progress, and the boy replies that she has entered the 3rd level and is using magic to recover. Dharam is impressed by her patience and decides to watch Cinder as well. Cinder remembers that in the game of chess, there are 2 kings, but in front of her there is only one. The other is absent. This gives you an idea. He runs in the opposite direction, dodging the attacks. The blue-haired boy mocks him, saying that he doesn't know the core of the challenge and that he is just wasting his luck. Cinder keeps running until he reaches a point that creates checkerboard lines on the ground, and he becomes the rival king. Dharam and his helper are shocked to see that the pattern on the board has changed, something they have never seen before. Cinder is really counting on luck. He commands the chess pieces, which start to move according to his will. He gives checkmates in a row until he finally passes the 2nd level. The blue-haired boy is surprised by Cinder's luck, but Dharam, not understanding how the pattern was changed, asks if it was really just luck. Anyway, he decides to announce that Cinder has also entered the final round. Meanwhile, the other arrogant guys return to the real world with defeated faces and tell the elders that they did not pass the 1st level and failed. The first elder is still proud of them for making it this far and asks who passed the 1st level. Then, they tell him that Cinder passed, which worries the old man a lot because Cinder is very young and who knows if he will make it to the end. Flam says that Cinder got lucky fighting weak monsters and advanced just by luck, which won't help him much. They see the portal approaching and hear that both Blue and Cinder have entered the final round. The people of the tribe are surprised that Cinder has made it this far. Cinder is thrown to the 3rd level in a funny way, where Blue is already waiting. She asks how he managed to survive the 2nd level, and he makes a superior face, proudly saying that it was pure strength and teasing her, saying that she just realized that the middle guardian is the key to breaking the formation. She agrees and says that powerful magical energy is in the middle of the formation and that the statues were protecting the guardian. Cinder responds that she was just observant, but he was different. He transforms into Pinocchio with his long nose and starts telling lies about his courage, saying that he faced all the statues with his fists and knocked them down. He continues talking without stopping, and she listens to him in silence. He gives her a cocky smile and tells her to leave everything to him, saying that's what a warrior is capable of doing. She points ahead and says that the 3rd level awaits them. Cinder's face goes from ugly to uglier when she sees that there is a large egg, like a dragon egg, lying next to them. The egg breaks, throwing the shell out, and they run back to hide behind a wall. A large snake, like the one Orochimaru summons, appears. It opens its mouth to create a portal and sucks in air to pull 1st and 2nd level monsters through the portal. After seeing this, Cinder pees her pants and thinks it's over. Observers see it as an ancient beast and did not expect it to appear. The snake breaks the protective wall and reveals them. Cinder is a complete loser. He says a true warrior faces the enemy head-on and leaves her there to fight first. She activates her typical spell and strangles the snake with the vines, but those vines are as weak as a strand of hair and break easily. The snake attacks with its head and then its tail to trap Blue, who has no other ability to counter this. When everyone thinks she is about to lose, she gets up and uses the same skill, but with her sharp mind, she extends the vines near the snake's head and strangles them, pulling it towards the ground. She repeats the process and slams the snake against the ground hard, but the snake is as tough as steel and opens its eyes like a dragon from Dragon Ball, kicking her with its tail and knocking her out. The blue-haired boy is shocked. A powerful girl like her couldn't take down this beast, and he wonders what Cinder is doing. Cinder shows himself and says he can't defeat this beast with his brute strength, so he pulls out his secret weapon. He plans to aim for the snake's eyes, and made a bow using his engineering knowledge, something that would only be possible in primitive times, as in modern times, engineers are treated worse. He carefully calculates the direction of the wind and the trajectory of the fall, and releases his arrow, which ridiculously misses the target. There's silence, and Blue looks at him, thinking he's a complete loser. He tries another shot, but it is in vain, so he uses all the arrows and launches them simultaneously at the snake. His single shot to the eyes doesn't work, but his multiple shots certainly do, and the snake screams in pain. The blue-haired boy is confused about how Cinder managed to hurt a legendary monster. Dharam says that Cinder used a common object, not powered by magical energy or totem, but the snake gets up again and attacks Cinder, who manages to dodge it. He asks Blue to get up, but she is in no condition to even get up. He thinks that Cinder was looking for the snake's weakness, which is its heart. She pulls those vines again and makes an arrow similar to the one Cinder designed, while the snake is distractedly crawling around Cinder. She throws the arrow with impressive force, which pierces his heart, and the snake falls. They think they have finally defeated it, but the snake is resilient and does not die. Cinder doesn't understand what her weakness could be. There must be some weakness, otherwise no one would have passed this mountain and sea challenge. He remembers Lurkish and the classics of mountains and seas, which are the same as the legends in his modern world. So he thinks, what if this snake is the celestial snake? According to legends, the celestial snake was the one that swallowed the sky, devoured the earth, and caused chaos for the living. A man named Howie made a divine bow and shot the red scale on the snake's back to weaken it, and he followed until the end. To finish, he runs towards the snake and asks Blue to hold it for him. She decides to trust him since he managed to catch the lurkfish, so she strangles the snake and walks across the unstable surface until she reaches the red scale. He stabs it with his small dagger, and as expected, the snake growls in pain. Everyone is surprised to see that he actually managed to find the weakness, while Cinder holds her dagger. The snake shakes from side to side to try to throw him out. Blue also helps him, and with force, they pierce the red scale. With their combined effort, they manage to injure the snake and destroy it. They fall back to the ground. Blue asks how he discovered the weakness, and he says it was from a sea snake that swallowed an elephant, and how he was the one to knock it down and reveal its weakness. Lou seems to know how he is the legendary ancient god of witchcraft, who made the divine arrow and shot the 9 children into the sky, but only witches and wizards know this legend. So how does he know this? He doesn't want to tell her that he read the classics of mountains and seas, and that his grandfather Alupa told him. Suddenly, they see a weapon shining in the sky, like a dungeon item. Blue and Cinder really want to have it, so they compete with each other and run to catch it, but just as they are about to reach it, the snake opens its eyes and releases its tail. Cinder sees the tail coming and protects Blue while he takes the hit. They fall and faint. Afterwards, Durham and his dog come to see and find that they are not seriously injured. They both pass the test, but the weapon is on Blue and his orb is glowing. Dar concludes that this test chose Blue as the chosen one and decides that she will be his heir. He orders blue-haired guy to send Cinder back to his tribe and give them a new totem pillar as a reward. However, they don't see the weapon glow because of Cinder touching the tip. Back at the fire tribe, the first elder asks the others if anyone from the hill tribe or the forest tribe arrived there, and they inform him that no one dared to come out of jealousy. They are happy that their winter will be spent in peace. But suddenly, a man comes running with breaking news. The new totem pillar has been stolen. We see the hill tribe members talking among themselves and blessed with offerings. They are grateful to the man Gravel who stood out in front of the chief and was awarded the title of tribal warrior. Everyone is excited to welcome Gravel. Aguru praises him, and he says he brought another gift. It shows a totem pillar, smaller in size and topped with a coiling snake. He launches it into the sky and it grows until it becomes a large pillar, which gets everyone excited. He was awarded a totem pillar as well. Later, a guru praises him for doing a good job and says that they should organize a celebration like that of the Fire Tribe, who are also celebrating a new pillar. Gravel reveals that he was not awarded the prize, but that he took it by force from the Fire Tribe. He became arrogant, thinking he was a tribal warrior and that no one could do anything to him. The rule of survival of the fittest applies there, and the strongest gets the totem pillar. Ivaru is shocked and worried at the same time, asking what would happen if the Fire Tribe reported this to the Great Tribe. Gravel already expected this and says that next winter will be longer this year, and that the Fire Tribe will have to wait until the winter ends. The Fire Tribe will lose their men, but the Hill Tribe has the totem pillar to save lives. When winter ends, they will have to block the way to the Big Tribe and the hunting ground, and eventually, the Fire Tribe will surrender. Aguru also becomes evil with his evil ideas, and agrees that if the Fire Tribe surrenders to them, they will have a total of 3 totem pillars. He orders his men to protect the totem pillar and not let the Fire Tribe escape. On the other hand, Aguru of the Fire Tribe demands an explanation about the theft of the pillar. A villager tells you that Gravel broke into the tribe and took the pillar while everyone was celebrating. Everyone is surprised to hear that it was Gravel, a new tribal warrior who receives direct orders from the chief, and that they won't be able to do anything. The Great Elder is furious and decides to call on his warriors to start a war with the Hill Tribe, but another elder tries to calm him down, saying that they are weaker than the Hill Tribe and that they need a plan to move forward. Blas suggests they make a bet on a duel for the totem pillar with the Hill Tribe, but it's risky since Gravel is strong. Flam suggests that they report the case to the Great Tribe. Blue will help them after hearing what happened, but there will still be bitter consequences, and it will result in losses due to the winter. Aguru asks Aaron his opinion, and he says they should consult Cinder, since he beat this totem pillar. Those idiot brothers get jealous of Cinder and think it's not right to give credit to Cinder, who just followed Blue to the end. Others also support that Cinder should not be included in the discussion, since he is still a child. A guru shares his opinion that when he was 12 years old, he followed the hunting team into the mountains, and that the development of the fire tribe is a collective effort of the entire tribe, not just him. On a guru's orders, Aaron calls Cinder into the conference room and asks her opinion on the matter. Cinder says this problem shouldn't be solved with blood. Instead, there is a peaceful solution. The fat grandfather is persistent and seething with anger, thinking that they are humiliating the fire tribe and that there can be no peaceful solution. Another elder calms him down and allows Cinder to continue telling her plan. For some reason, the cowardly Cinder announces that she will send the totem pillar across the hill tribe in 5 days. His statement irritates everyone. They ask him not to lie at this time and if he has any plans to share them with them, but he acts arrogantly and says that everyone will see when the right time comes. The intelligent and calm elder speaks to Agiru, saying that Cinder has always been a perceptive child and that he may have some plan up his sleeve. Flam stops him, saying that Cinder has only shown tricks and wiles and cannot be trusted. Cinder's grandfather tries to shut him up, but he's had enough and keeps saying that Cinder doesn't deserve to be there and that she hasn't even awakened the spark yet. Cinder's grandfather can't take it and gives him a satisfying slap right across the face. He says the totem pillar was given to the fire tribe, but Cinder is the most deserving, and without it, there would be no pillar. Aguru asks Cinder if he's sure his plan will work, and he says yes. Who knows what he's planning? Then Aguru gives him 5 days to work on his plan and orders him to cooperate with him. The next day, we see Cinder busy filling her mouth and stomach. The others around him gossip that he has been eating and drinking all day. It's not just the first day, he repeats his routine for all 4 days. Flam and Blaum come to mock him on the 4th day and dishonor him for not keeping his words. Elder Sophie comes to check, and a guy complains that he spent his days doing nothing special, but the elder trusts him and asks the others to trust him too. He turns to Cinder and asks him not to care about their words, that they are just worried about the totem. But Cinder is just a hard-headed guy and says that he doesn't hold a grudge against anyone as he throws himself into the food again. The old man forces everyone to return to their homes and rest. Finally, the 5th day arrives, and the angry tribesmen rush to Cinder's house. They knock on the door so hard it almost breaks it and demand that he give them the totem pillar he promised. He appears without any worried expression, and the fat grandfather also arrives and asks why he still hasn't retrieved the totem pillar when it's already the 5th day. He scolds him for not promising when he can't deliver, and they lost the time of war because of his lies. Other tribe members also support him and speak badly of Cinder. The fat grandfather declares war on the hill tribe in a boring way, unlike Aaron, who has a whole vibe when he declares war. Soon, a guy comes running up to them and says that the hill tribe has arrived. The fat grandfather has a shocked expression upon seeing them, and the old man orders everyone to gather at the entrance. The hill tribe, including Aguru, appears and walks as if making noise. Aguru from the fire tribe confronts him, asking what he is doing there. Aguru orders his men to bring the totem pillar they stole. This shocks everyone, and they can't believe that Cinder was behind all of this. The first elder orders Aaron to retrieve the pillar, but Cinder stops them and refuses to take the pillar. They stole the pillar and came to return it since it's not a big deal. The hill tribe must apologize and pay for its damages. Aguru of the hill tribe questions what he wants him to pay, and Cinder demands that they give 3 miles of hunting ground in the eastern mountain forest to the fire tribe. Hulk points at Cinder, saying that he has to get the pillar today, whether he likes it or not. This is the world where the strongest always prey on the weakest, and it is not their fault if the fire tribe is weak. As they are about to return, Cinder again lights a flame and says that they took the pillar by force and are now returning it since it has no further use. This is a matter of humiliation for the fire tribe. Aaron also seems to understand his point and talks to Aguru, saying that if they take the pillar, they will lose their honor. He asks the tribesmen if they are willing to accept humiliation or if they will seek glory as warriors. Everyone supports Cinder, and with just a few words, he becomes a true warrior in the face of those idiotic Aguru from the hill tribe. Aguru warns Cinder about the consequences if there is a war, but Cinder is 2 steps ahead and asks how many people from the hill tribe are capable of fighting. This makes Aguru worried, and he asks how Cinder knew about this. 2 days later, we see the hill tribe having a party to celebrate Gravel's promotion and the achievement of a new totem pillar. They mock the fire tribe, wondering how this tribe would react to finding out that their pillar was stolen, and somehow they are confident that the fire tribe doesn't have the courage to come and retrieve their pillar. Aguru even plans to take control of the fire tribe after winter ends. Suddenly, a man feels excruciating pain throughout his body and faints. Following him, the others also faint. Aguru runs outside to call someone for help, but finds nothing good outside either. That's when Cinder appears disguised as an exorcist, covered in a cloak, and two men confront him. Cinder declares it to be the work of a curse, and lights up her magic staff to make them believe he is someone special. He further tells them that they have offended Durham and that this is more than a curse, it is his punishment. Cinder gives them a sample of a liquid, and when they drink it, they feel relieved, and then beg him to lift the curse. Cinder says he only alleviated the symptoms, and that they should deal with the root cause and think carefully about whether they brought up anything related to Durham. Cinder says goodbye, saying that the curse will stay with them permanently in 3 days, and that they should reflect on their actions. Currently, a guru of the Hill tribe is confused, wondering if Cinder knows about her tribe's situation. He asks if this little kit will represent his tribe. The hard-headed elders, including one who is eager to fight with the Hill tribe, tell the first elder that Cinder must back down, for he is just a child and does not know the consequences of a war with the Hill tribe. Aaron intervenes and lifts his tribe's spirits, saying that a boy has reached their enemies, so they can't retreat either. The Aguru tries to threaten them with the name of the great tribe, but Cinder stands firm and says that they cannot be afraid of the great tribe. It was Dum who blessed them with the totem pillar. The Hill tribe is weak at this time and will fall into his hands, so they must compensate the Fire tribe with their land, otherwise there will be a war. The Hill tribesmen grow impatient, but the Aguru holds them back. He agrees to the compensation and decides to give 2 miles of hunting ground to the Fire tribe. Cinder has a problem with this and demands 3 miles, which irritates them. Baldy whispers to his master that they should give up the totem pillar. The curse will devour them, and thus they would kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So Aguru agrees to go 3 miles, and just as they are about to turn back, they see horrible black clouds forming in the sky. The dark clouds suggest that the winter of eternal night is coming. Cinder looks up at the sky and sees that those clouds are darkening the sky and chasing the bird. When they hit the bird, something strange and frightening happens, and its life force is taken away. Cinder is witnessing this for the first time and doesn't understand what kind of winter darkens the sky, but those people in the tribe have seen it before and didn't expect winter to come so soon. No wonder the people of that tribe are afraid of winter. A guru of the Hill tribe gives them the land and the totem pillar, so the first elder accepts the Hill tribe's apology and orders Aaron to bring the pillar inside. After they leave, Cinder goes to Aaron, and their relationship almost resembles that of Rubeus, Hagrid, and Harry Potter. Aaron praises him for doing a good job in protecting his tribe's glory. Cinder doesn't take credit for it and questions him about the sun. Aaron explains that they don't have time to relax, as the winter of eternal night is approaching. 37 people from the tribe did not survive the last winter. Upon hearing about the deaths of so many people, Cinder is shocked, as there are only 200 people in the tribe. Aaron reassures him that this winter will be peaceful for them, as they have a new totem pillar and a new hunting spot, thanks to Cinder. The first elder gathers the people and declares that they will form a hunting team and head to the eastern mountain to open new hunting grounds and prepare for winter. Aaron will be the team leader and emphasizes that the young generation that sparked the spark should also participate in this activity. Cinder does not match the energy of these primitives and does not intend to join the team, but the first elder exclusively recommends that Cinder join this team as well. The jealous kids interrupt and tell him he's just a kid, and putting him on the team is against the rules, however. The eldest elder has an opinion that Cinder really has something special, and that participating in the hunt will hone her skills. He asks if there is a problem with Cinder joining them, and everyone except the jealous cousins has no problem with Cinder. But poor Cinder wants to have a peaceful life and says she has a problem because she is not capable of taking on this responsibility. Aaron appears and encourages him, saying that he is already a warrior, and his brave words really touched him. There he goes again, says if Cinder dies, he will die an honorable death. Fat Grandpa is against it, but Nice Grandpa agrees. Everyone is discussing and deciding without asking Cinder's opinion, who is sulking in the corner. Fat Grandpa gets mad at Good Grandpa and asks him why he's always favoring Cinder. Good Grandpa says that Aguru is intentionally training Cinder and perhaps intends to make him the next Aguru, while his grandchildren are good for nothing. Fat Grandpa can't take it and leaves. On the other hand, Gravel of the Hill tribe is watching Cinder and is so desperate to get revenge on Cinder that he breaks the tree with minimal effort. He is waiting for the curse of the totem pillar to spread throughout the Fire tribe and then wants to see how Cinder will defend the 3-mile hunting ground. The next morning, everyone arrives at the meeting point and Cinder arrives later, carrying a large bag, just like when Bo packed everything for her beloved Luffy. However, Cinder's bag only has tools, not meat and clothes. Those jealous cousins mock, saying that hunting is not fishing, and a good hunter depends on a strong and courageous body. They leave after commenting on him, but Aaron comes and encourages him to believe in himself. They begin their journey and encounter a great bull, as immense as a titan, also known as Tarzan of the Apes. The excited guys rush forward and attack this bull with their luck, knowing that there are mosquitoes against him. The wool knocks them down with a simple push, and one of them gets hurt in the chest. Cinder runs to save the guy, but he recovers and fights again. It seems like they like to fight. Blas gets an idea and throws his spear directly into the bull's ass, which causes pain. They are excited to have found a weakness, and they all shoot their arrows into the bull's ass, finally hunting him. Cinder is surprised and thinks she couldn't do something like that. Aaron, the uncle, approaches him and asks him how he's feeling, and he says he's right. Aaron takes him hunting a crocodile and bison near the lake, but Cinder walks away, saying she saw bigger prey and is going hunting alone. Obviously, those jealous guys don't believe him and say he can't even hunt a rabbit, let alone larger prey. At dusk, everyone returns with the hunted animals, even a large mouse, to make the winter more peaceful. These cousins ask Cinder what prey he has hunted, and when they see that he has nothing in his hands, they mock him, saying that he must have come empty-handed. Cinder focuses on her own affairs and says nothing while eating an apple, which angers them. He throws the apple into the hunting arena and says it is his prey. Cinder is just playing with them, and Aaron asks him to get this apple himself. Anyway, they continue and divide the meat among all the members of the hunting team. Cian takes a big piece of meat without remorse, which obviously makes the guys angry. They say they worked hard to capture the prey, and he hasn't contributed one bit, but he's taking the piece of meat like he deserves it. Others also admit that it's not fair, since Wink only brought one apple. Aaron stops them from swearing and says that Cinder deserves it, being part of the hunting team. Uncle Sophia also intervenes, saying that they also hunted a mouse on the first day, all thanks to Cinder, and that they now have these hunting grounds. Cinder is still a child, and they anticipate that he will do much better tomorrow. The next day, Cinder secretly digs the hole and covers it with bushes. He finishes making traps in the forest and woods and does something in the water using some impressive formulas he learned in his engineering course. He returns to the tribe with a frightening smile and 2 apples in his hands. He throws one into the hunting arena and eats the other. Aaron asks if he thought about bringing in animals, and he responds, "Good things always take time. If they eat animals all the time, they'll build up cholesterol." He takes the apple and a piece of meat, annoying everyone. The next day, he continues working on his plan, while the others continue hunting. At the end of the day, he returns empty-handed and claims he will bring more prey than they do. After 2 days, he takes part of his meal and the others exceed their patience limit, saying they must inform Aguru and remove him from the hunting team. On the other hand, Gravel is going crazy after realizing that the Fire Tribe tricked them, and they did not suffer from the curse in those 3 days. He composes himself and plans to go to Aguru. First, they will start a war against the Fire Tribe tomorrow and make them realize who is the true master of these eastern mountains. Their people have recovered, and now the Fire Tribe doesn't stand a chance against them. The next day, Cinder returns with an exhausted body and finds the others covered in bandages. The Hill Tribe attacked them, and they are angry with him because they haven't seen him anywhere. At this point, Aaron is also hurt and doesn't blame Cinder. Instead, he takes responsibility for failing to foresee the Hill Tribe's attack. They hunted a good amount of prey, but the Hill Tribe took most of it and left only 1 deer. He also warns Cinder to be careful in the hunting area, as the Hill Tribe is still there. Cinder is finally furious with the Hill Tribe because he spent days working on her traps. On the other hand, Blue regains her senses after a long recovery time. She remembers what happened around the time Cinder was beaten by the snake's tail, and then she becomes anxious and asks what happened with the trial. An old man says that the trial ended 5 days ago and that she was in a coma. Meanwhile, everyone congratulates her on her victory in the trial and says that Darum will personally come to teach her the ancient art of witchcraft. She remembers things and prepares to leave for the Fire Tribe. She sent a person from the Fire Tribe to Daru's trial and has not yet awarded him a Daru token, but her followers do not want her to go as Darren will come to teach her, and she needs to leave this trivial matter to him. Cinder is buried in work, creating traps as if she were putting rocks in a bag and tying it to a tree. It is the last trap of his plan, and he has covered all 4 sides with his traps to capture specific animals. Any animal that enters your territory will fall into your traps. Suddenly, he hears growling sounds behind him and goes there to find some 3-eyed wolves threatening a cute panda, which is also called a national treasure. Cinder can't believe she came across the panda and doesn't want to miss this chance. The wolves and the panda start to fight. Although the wolves look savage, the real savage is the panda, who looks like Kung Fu Panda's brother. He grabs the wolf's arm and spins it in the air as if the wolf were a fan. The panda takes down both wolves with his fierce and cool fight, and Cinder looks really shocked, just like us. This panda even notices that someone is hiding in the bushes, so he growls with a deadly sound. Cinder reveals herself with her hands raised, as if she were a criminal in front of the police, sweating, and states that she is just passing by and doesn't want to get in the way. The panda seems to understand that he is not a threat and moves on, dragging the hunting hunted wolves. Suddenly, Cinder remembers that there is a trap he made that morning, and before he can tell the panda falls into the hole. Cinder goes there and sees that the panda has a swollen belly, as if it were female and pregnant. The panda tries to grab the wall to get out, but every time she can't hold on and falls again. Cinder tells her that the slope is steep and that she won't get out easily. After all, he used his knowledge and made the hole in a different way, with a bottle. The panda is very smart and plays cutely to melt Cinder's heart. But Cinder isn't fooled by her tricks and clarifies that she doesn't want the panda to stay there or feed on her. The panda uses her hand to say that she is willing to give 50% of her kill, and when Cinder says she wants everything, the panda negotiates saying that she can only give 60%. Cinder accepts and guarantees that she will change her hunt. He takes a few minutes and comes back with bamboo shoots. Surprisingly, this is the first panda that has never had bamboo shoots before. When she starts eating, she can't stop, and after finishing, she gives a thumbs up, showing that it was great. Cinder makes a deal to give bamboo shoots in exchange for the hunted animals. He throws a piece of cloth and helps the panda get to the top of the hole. As the panda mistakes normal shoots for bamboo shoots, Cinder correctly digs the ground and gives him the bamboo shoots. They shake hands as they exchange goods, and Cinder asks her to trade with him again next time. Cinder is pleased with the hunt as it will make up for the loss the fire tribe took. He can't carry the wolves, so just as he's about to inform Aaron, he hears some people bad-mouthing the fire tribe. Cinder takes a look at them and sees that they are a group from the powerful quarry tribe who are confident that the fire tribe don't stand a chance against them. Cinder was wondering how to find them, and they turned out to be alone. The hill tribe guys are full of themselves and rumble toward the heart of the forest. Cinder is 2 steps ahead. Cinder sets a trap at the entrance using her engineering powers. As they continue, a man falls into the trap and pulls himself up through the rope. They become alert that the fire tribe has ambushed them, so they plan to split up and capture them. They continue advancing, and one by one fall into the traps designed by Cinder. He watches them and evaluates how effective each trap is. After everyone falls into the trap, only Gravel remains out, so Cinder wants to hit him more than anyone. Gravel faces traps one after another and deals with them, but there is no end. While removing one trap from his path, he falls into another, and a pot of honey falls on him from above. He screams and asks whoever is doing this to come forward. Cinder appears, saying enchanting words. Gravel is surprised to see that it is Cinder behind all these tricks. Cinder claims that this mountain is his lair, and if his tricks have fooled them, it shows that they are better than him. Gravel says he's not as smart as Cinder and has come this far through strength. He tries to unleash his maximum power, but Cinder stops him and talks about the benefits of honey. If he doesn't like it, someone else does. A large bear appears behind him and roars angrily at Gravel, while Cinder sits calmly, enjoying the cinema. The group of hunters are in the dark forest and approach the hill tribe, stealing their prey. Suddenly, they hear the roar of a bear coming from one direction. Aaron realizes that this is where Cinder usually goes, and everyone rushes to protect him. Cinder is here, enjoying the fight between the bear and Gravel. The bear is much stronger than Gravel and keeps hitting him. Gravel's attacks do not work against the bear. In the end, he resorts to the power of the totem and accumulates sand around his body, transforming himself into a Power Ranger. The hill tribe's totem is stone, so it can control Boulder. He condenses the energy in one of his hands and hits the bear hard. It then gathers the energy to pull up a boulder and throw it at the bear. The bear is pushed back by the force of the boulder, but it doesn't affect him much, and he emerges unharmed. Cinder orders the bear to stop for now and stay there. He activates his incredible trap, and the ground beneath them breaks into a pit, both falling at the same time. Aaron and the others rush in and see that Cinder is okay. They see the hill tribe guys caught in a net trap and approach the pit. Even though Cinder stops them, they are excited to see that Gravel and the bear fall into the pit, but also fall into the net trap. Aaron goes to try to save them, and this time again, Cinder stops him, but he still goes, and a wooden log hits him. Cinder takes no responsibility after all, he stopped them. Gravel comes to, asking where he is, and then looks into the hungry bear's open mouth. He does his best to hold onto the bear's sharp teeth and throws it away with his strength. Now the bear is furious and rushes to finish him off, but several arrows kill him first. Cinder says this luxury suite was specially prepared for him. Gravel challenges Cinder to fight, but Cinder has no intention of fighting and asks him to fight with the grave. Gravel gathers energy in his hands and tries to climb up the pit. He is strong enough to climb up, but soon comes across the heavy rock. Cinder hits him in the face with the rock and continues hitting him with different weapons. Gravel warns him not to hit the tribal warrior, but Cinder doesn't care. He delivers the last blow and sends Gravel back to the bottom of the pit. Cinder emphasizes announces that the Eastern Mountains are her territory, and whoever returns will face such humiliation. If Gravel is dying to show his strength, then Cinder will show what sovereignty is. Cinder goes to wake up Uncle Aaron, who wonders what happened. Cinder wants to talk about this later. First, he has to deal with the Hill Tribe guys. He takes him to the pit and asks Aaron to teach Gravel a lesson. Aaron invokes the energy of the totem pillar. Cinder threatens Gravel, saying that Uncle Aaron will barbecue him, but Gravel is not afraid of death. Cinder even raises the bar on her threats and says, "No one from the Hill Tribe will make it out alive today." He states this with enough confidence that Gravel finally agrees to leave the Eastern Mountains. Cinder is still not satisfied with letting them go easily. They stole the prey and injured Hill Tribe people. Gravel also agrees with his reason and agrees to return the prey twice as much. Aaron intervenes and wants to resolve this with Gravel's agreement, but Cinder doubts that Gravel can come back with words. If he doesn't show any proof, Gravel says he's willing to make an ancient pact, which is quite shocking to Aaron, but idiot Cinder doesn't know what that is. Back at the Fire Tribe, the ungrateful Blaze throws a bowl from a plate made from the leaves because he feels like eating meat, and they have been eating leaves for days when the old man tries to calm him down, saying that the group of hunters is on the way and that he can meet them. Blaum begins to vent, saying that he is asking to wait for the group of hunters to return and let Cinder steal their food. Flu appears and says that the group of hunters is returning and that they had a great hunt today. Blaze says he's just enraged thinking about the fact that Cinder took their food without doing anything and still inciting anger in her idiot followers. Everyone goes out to welcome the group of hunters. At the entrance, the people of the tribe see the group of hunters arriving with an unimaginable number of hunted animals, and the protagonist is lying on one of them. Aaron reports the hunt to Aguru, saying they had a successful hunt today, and Aguru gladly orders everyone to share the hunt. Blay and his jealous group stop them and hold them back, saying they have something to discuss before handing out the food. Those guys raise their voices against Cinder and demand that he be excluded from the hunting team. Blaze tells Aguru that Cinder hasn't brought any animals since joining the group, and they aren't willing to give any of today's hunt to him. Flam also chimes in and says that Aguru was so kind to Cinder, putting him in the group, thinking at first that Cinder was just a child who should be helped. But Cinder went overboard. He relaxed the whole day and showed up when the food was distributed. While everyone was under attack, he was hiding somewhere. Blaum also supports his argument. Aaron speaks up and clarifies that everyone was misinterpreting Cinder, but those elders also accept that those young people have weight in their words, and Cinder really is stalling for nothing. Aaron tries to defend Cinder, but the fat elder shuts him up. Blaum demands that Cinder be commanded to kneel before everyone and apologize for slacking off and stealing their meat. They are already annoyed with Cinder, and he makes the situation worse by waking up and yawning over the animal, as if he doesn't care what they say. Aaron interrupts and makes a clear statement that all the beasts were hunted by Cinder and that they had a successful hunt, all thanks to Cinder. Everyone is shocked, and those jealous idiots have ugly expressions. Aaron goes on to say that Cinder defeated these two wolves single-handedly. Obviously, this is a blatant lie. Our protagonist is good at fabricating reality with lies. Cinder exaggerates with confidence, saying that these two huskies were fierce and walked like titans, but they were just puppies when they faced him. These primitives don't know what a husky is. Those guys who were talking non-stop start to realize Cinder's supremacy, but some still defend Flam's opinion that it is part of Cinder's duty to be in the hunting party, and that he didn't do anything special. Blaze still tries to defend his point, saying that when Gravel from the Hill Tribe arrived, Cinder hid somewhere, and if Gravel wasn't so strong, they would have defeated the Hill Tribe. Aaron re-enters to clarify, as a foster father, that Cinder has subjugated both Gravel and his group of hunters. The antagonists open their mouths in shock and can't believe he was able to do that. Aaron also says that half of this hunting is Gravel's compensation. In addition, Cinder forced Gravel to make a vow to the ancient gods that they would never mess with the Fire Tribe again. And look at the fat elder's expression. A little earlier, Gravel was in the well and cut his hand to draw blood. Aaron explains what the ancestral pact is. When someone makes a vow to the ancestral gods through their totem, their soul is bound to the pact, and not even death can separate them. Not even Durham can break that pact. Gravel spills his blood on the ground and releases the power of his totem to make a vow that he will not be an enemy of the Fire Tribe and that he will compensate them double. If he breaks his promise, the totem's power will consume his flesh and crush his soul. Something red, like a candy made from Gravel's flesh, flies towards Cinder, and currently Cinder shows this candy, which is proof of the pact, to everyone. Even Aguru is surprised to see the royal pact. Well, he's good for nothing, Aguru, who doesn't make decisions alone. Flam is still not ready to accept Cinder's feat and says that Cinder was just lucky and caught so many animals for nothing. A little girl comes from the audience and asks Cinder if he brought fangs to share with her. Flam can't believe that Cinder could share her fangs with someone else. After her, many people come forward and say that Cinder brought them food. She assures her that Cinder is Robin Hood, who has been bringing food to the people of the tribe and sharing it with everyone. Now everyone has change their mind about Cinder and accepts that he is a good boy. They don't know why these two jealous cousins are so prejudiced against him. Those guys who were always Flam's side dogs now go to Cinder, and he starts fawning over ugly Blaze, who still can't believe that a boy who hasn't awakened yet can do such things. Aaron speaks in Cinder's defense, saying that he hasn't been sitting around these past few days, but has been trapping in the mountains, which has caused difficulties for Gravel and his hunting team. Just as Blaum is about to explode in anger, his fat grandfather explodes first and hits him in the head. He also reaches out to Cinder, which scares the other elders, who think he did something to Cinder too, but he just pats him on the head and praises him for doing good deeds. He takes Blay back home to reflect on his actions. Afterwards, Eguru announces that he will hold a party to celebrate the bountiful harvest during the night. When everyone is enjoying the food, Blaze, with her face swollen and bruised, goes to Cinder to say something. Fat Grandpa is there too, and makes him bow down to Cinder to apologize for his rude behavior. The elder also accepts Cinder as a true warrior and apologizes to him, but for some reason, Cinder acts like the villain instead of being the good protagonist. He says he can't forget the past, and that's why he wants to cut the old man off. Fat Grandpa lets him do whatever he wants, so Cinder makes a cut on his arm that starts to bleed. Then Cinder applies some power to the wound. Those around are surprised to see that the blood has suddenly stopped. Cinder introduces her new high-stick powder and explained that she cut the elder to show how magical this powder is. He has transformed into Dr. Stone, Senku, and has been inventing modern things in the primitive era. The old man excitedly takes the bag of powder and heads in the opposite direction, announcing that his hunting party will never again fear injury with this powder in hand. On the 10th day of the hunt, the team begins adapting Cinder's hunting strategies to set traps and hunt animals. Some hunt a small animal in a net, while others capture a large animal in a ground trap. Everyone is grateful to Cinder, as hunting efficiency has increased, and they can now capture any animal from anywhere, whether on the ground, in the air, or in the water. During their return, some talk about the fact that Aaron plans to make Cinder the next leader of the hunting team, and one of them spreads the rumor that Aguru is training Cinder to become the next Aguru. Suddenly, other elders interrupt them and reprimand them for saying such things so easily. Fat Grandpa somehow agrees with these guys, saying that Cinder is really capable of leading everyone, but Elder Softy has a worried expression. Who knows what he's thinking? Aaron and Cinder go to a guy who records the results of the hunt. They ask about hunting efficiency, and he says things have been going well lately, but suggests they slow down hunting for a while. Suddenly, a man puts his hand on Cinder's shoulder and falls down due to a stomachache. He explains that this is why he is suggesting they cut down on hunting. Some men have been getting sick after eating meat for a while. Cinder understands the reason and accepts, recognizing that she neglected the fact that these primitives don't know how to preserve food. After all, stacked food spoils if it's not frozen or preserved. He must look for a solution to this problem. On the other hand, a guru of the Hill tribe and Gravel seem to be at odds. A guru shows a letter saying that this is a rare opportunity, but Gravel objects, claiming that they don't know who wrote the letter and that they can't trust the informant. He says that playing dirty is not the attitude of a warrior. Aguru yells at him, saying he doesn't want to do this either, but as an Aguru, he can't let his people starve. Some forest tribesmen enter the room and tell Gravel, if he doesn't want to play dirty, then let him go. He questions Aguru about what is happening there, and he responds, the forest tribe will help us against the fire tribe. He questions Gravel further, saying he won't give in, showing a map with traps in the eastern mountains. Someone from the tribe is betraying their own tribe and leaking secret information to them. Gravel is a man with a sincere heart and is not willing to work with anyone who has betrayed his own tribe. A guy from the forest tribe clicks his tongue, which catches Gravel's attention. They insult him, saying that he let the fire tribe take the totem pillar right under his nose and still has the audacity to talk like that. This makes Gravel furious. They continue to test his patience, saying he was responsible for letting his shame happen. Gravel pushes your limits of patience and unleashes his power to become a Super Saiyan. But the forest tribe also has someone with a dark presence who looks like Dant. Black Clover lost his way to this story and says that Gravel should die for his people, like a tribal warrior, but he is running away from his mission. Gravel realizes that this guy practices the power of witchcraft like Dharam. He circulates dark energy around him, and the people of the forest tribe bow before him with respect. He is the tribe's priest, which surprises Gravel, because priests should only be found in the large tribe. This guy says that Gravel didn't answer his question about why he isn't obeying his Aguru. There is a severe punishment for those who betray their tribe. Aguru speaks in Grail's defense and says that Gravel didn't betray them. He's just having trouble accepting reality. He questions Gravel about why he is resisting and assigns him to lead the attack. But again, Gravel refuses and reveals that he made an ancient pact with the fire tribe, saying he would never attack them. His statement shocks everyone. A forest tribe's tribesman wonders who the hell this Cinder is that made the tribal warrior form such a pact. A guru explains that Cinder is the 12-year-old boy who set the traps in the mountains, and the hill tribe people fell into them. Black is curious to meet this 12-year-old boy, who also passed the test of mountains and seas together with Matachia. Cinder is playing with a panda girl and digging fresh bamboo shoots for her. He teaches her that she should reduce her meat consumption in the future and start eating bamboo shoots. They both undergo training and dig several bamboo shoots. Afterwards, they are both exhausted, and Cinder looks at the panda and accepts why she is called a national treasure. Even your heart melts when you see its cuteness. When he's about to leave, she lends him a bamboo shoot, and Cinder complains that he spent the whole day with her, and she only gave him one shoot, but he lets her go because she's cute. He makes his way back home. On the way, some guys surround him. He looks at the symbol drawn on their badge and recognizes that they are from the forest tribe, but wonders what they are doing there. They are there to kill you, and your little tricks haven't worked against them. Cinder realizes that someone gave them a map of the trap's positions drawn on them, and that's why they were able to get past the traps without being captured. It doesn't matter to him anymore. He throws several sharp-toothed traps onto the ground and runs away. One of them gets stuck, but these little traps are not effective. One man throws his spear, which almost hits Cinder, and then they all throw their spears, treating him as if he were game. Cinder runs and hides behind a large rock, but those arrows are strong enough to break the rock as well. He starts playing the temple run game. Those forest tribe guys also have ninjas, and he can't outrun them. A guy appears in front of him and blocks his path, while others also surround him. Cinder takes out her bow with a probability crossbow and strikes the man in front of her. He keeps attacking them all and fights his way out. Their team captain arrives to see that everyone is injured, and they inform him that Cinder has a strange weapon and that they need to be careful. The captain rests easy, as his team is not the only one chasing Cinder. The strange black man from the forest tribe has been watching, and he thinks Cinder is an interesting guy. Other guys almost catch up to Cinder, and one of them activates his wood totem gang power spell. Several tree branches appear and attack him, and luckily, Cinder has this armor to protect him, and he manages to survive. However, the armor on his shoulder shatters, and he sees that those guys are still chasing him. He takes his rope with a hook and attaches it to a branch to climb the tree. The guy with the power of wood appears and stops him from moving forward, saying he's an idiot. Cinder also says that if they get closer, he will have nowhere to go. Obviously, that's what those guys want. The guy with the power of wood approaches and uses his branches to expose the large pit that Cinder dug. He's not like gravel, and he will use his power against him. Cinder barely manages to save herself by climbing the tree. The forest tribe warriors still won't leave him alone, so he takes off his equipment, which was supposed to release the storm of thorns, but somehow now only releases a drizzle of thorns. The warriors dodge these spikes, but some still get hurt, including Song, who tries to be overly efficient, saying that it can't beat them, but it's just his thought that Cinder would be so naive. When he raises his head, the people around him notice his swollen lips, and thus, all those people who were hit by Cinder's thorns have swollen lips, like Usopp from One Piece. Then Cinder tells them that they have all fallen to her sorcery, whereby if they take even half a step forward, they will die. This creates a wave of panic among them, and everyone becomes worried. Just then, their captain appears and stops them from moving. He will capture Cinder and then detox them upon seeing someone else, with his entire gang behind him. Cinder runs forward again to save her life, leaving behind an agitated situation among the warriors, where everyone is still in a very uncomfortable position. They're all in really funny situations, and they're all mourning their deaths. Upon seeing them, Song taunts them, saying that they must behave like warriors and die with dignity. This boosts their morale, and everyone tries to be brave by standing still. Their priest appears there and asks what they are doing. Song tells him that his warriors are under the influence of Cinder's sorcery, and this could be the end of them. The priest approaches Song and smells him. He mocks them, saying that they were all deceived by Cinder, and this is just poison. This enrages Song, and now he just wants to kill Cinder. He orders the warriors to rise up and capture Cinder. The forest tribe warriors are still chasing Cinder, and to save her life, Cinder doesn't even notice when she enters the beast's territory. Upon seeing him enter, the warriors stop behind, as they know that this territory is dangerous. They cannot go any further because even if they take a step into this territory, the king of beasts, who dominates this territory, will attack them. Their captain arrives there and asks the reason for their stop, but upon seeing the beast's territory ahead, he becomes furious and says they must capture Cinder. They can't stop here and won't let him go, so they also enter the territory. Cinder stops for a moment to recover her energy after running continuously, but those warriors also arrive and ask Cinder to surrender. Cinder no longer has any traps set for them, so now he's really in a tough spot. At the same time, Song's group also arrives there with swollen lips and attacks Cinder. With no tricks up her sleeve, Cinder leaves all hope of living behind and begins planning her next life in her mind. Just when the spears were about to hit Cinder's neck, a loud roar and a huge silhouette appear behind Cinder, scaring everyone. They recognize him as the king of the beasts of the eastern mountains, who looks like a giant panda. It is a legend that, deep in a forest, resides a monster whose strength is unparalleled. No monster that challenges him survives, and he is the king of the beasts. Cinder, who is standing there without knowing anything, looks back and a smile appears on her face. The beast extends its paw towards Cinder, and Cinder also approaches the beast. It appears that the beast is attacking Cinder, and all the warriors become anxious, asking why Cinder is approaching the beast. The beast roars and begins to attack Cinder, and Cinder also closes her fist and extends it towards the beast. It was an intense moment for each warrior, but everyone is stunned when they both shake hands, and Cinder hugs the beast, who becomes like a cute panda. The beast is not male, but female, and it seems that they know each other and have not seen each other for a long time. Cinder climbs on her shoulder and complains about being chased by the warriors. The warriors are surprised by this sudden change in the beast's behavior, but their captain boosts their morale by provoking them against the beast, and they all prepare to kill the beast. They raise their war cry, and the captain rushes to attack the beast, but is effortlessly defeated by the beast's paw, like the beast titan. The female beast picks up the defeated and unconscious captain and throws him toward the warriors. She quickly advances towards the warriors and shows the power of her paw, throwing each warrior from one side to the other. Cinder is impressed by her and laughs. Song advances, thinking he can defeat the female beast with a pathetic-looking spear, but the female beast is not defeated. Instead, his spear breaks. He regrets his thoughts, but realizes it late when the female beast quickly defeats him. When they break free of her, Cinder notices something strange in the forest near them. His instincts are right, because the forest tribe priest is there, releasing a few strands of red darkness from his hands, and he extends them towards them, seeing the threads or ropes that come towards them. Cinder advises the beast lady to get out of the way. The dark fibers grab Cinder and the beast lady, causing them so much damage that they are both knocked unconscious. These fibers induce darkness in the person, and therefore both are deeply affected. The warriors are eager to find out if they have finally been defeated when the priest arrives there. According to him, the king of beasts is an ideal material for making a puppet. He approaches his unconscious states when he notices some movement in Cinder and begins to unleash his attack on him, but the beast lady gets up and attacks the priest, throwing him away. She grabs Cinder and runs away from there. When the warriors try to follow them, the priest stops them, saying that they will not survive, as they have already been corroded by the darkness. On the other hand, the beast lady arrives at an ice cave and leaves Cinder there. She also lies down to rest next to Cinder. A drop of water, melted by the ice spike just above Cinder, falls onto her forehead, drawing the darkness from her body. He wakes up and finds himself completely fine. He looks around for the beast lady and finds her in a state completely affected by darkness. He runs out of the cave to look for food for the beast lady so she can recover. But when he comes out of the cave, he sees darkness surrounding the cave. The darkness around the cave turns into many scary eyes and advances towards Cinder, scaring him. When the feet of a huge monster appear, crushing all eyes, it approaches Cinder. A wave of wind comes out of the cave and somehow makes the monster go away. Cinder doesn't understand the sudden turn of events and is anxious to know what exactly lies in the darkness. The panda beast lady crawls there, as she no longer has the strength to walk. When Cinder's attention shifts to her, he stops her from moving when she points to a place she wants to go. Cinder wonders if there is something there that could help the beast lady heal. He helps her up, but she is too heavy to carry. He doesn't give up and carries the beast lady on his back, but as he takes a step forward, he trips on a rock and falls. He gets up again because he feels he must help the beast lady since she got hurt because of him. It's a little strange for him to carry a panda, as it's his first time doing so, and the panda is considered a national treasure in the world he came from. He gets up and finally reaches the place where the beast lady was asking him to go. When he gets there, he realizes that the influence of darkness has diminished over the beast lady. There is a stage there, on which is a skull and a fire burning in front of the skull. The decrease in darkness must be due to that skull. Cinder asks the beast lady if she wants the skull, and she nods. He reaches out to grab the skull, but the shield on the skull won't let him touch it and sends him flying away. Cinder doesn't give up and tries to reach the skull again, but all in vain. Now, he has decided that he will heal the beast lady, and not even God can stop him. He gets up again and runs towards the skull, covered in blood. When she gets close to the skull, some rays emerge from it and draw a puzzle near Cinder. Cinder doesn't understand and assumes that this combination of 9 dots must represent Lucia's 9 palaces. If solving this puzzle means he can help the beast lady, then he's ready to take on this challenge. He begins to solve the puzzle. The unit with 5 dots in the middle forms the image. The unit with 4 points forms the mental. The unit with 2 points forms the fire. The 2 units in the upper left and right corners of the image represent the shoulders. While solving it, you feel your heart burning. This burning sensation in his heart must be due to the yin-yang structure formed beneath it. With no time to waste, he starts racing to solve the puzzle. For him, the unit with 8 points forms wood, and the unit with 6 points forms water. The 2 units in the lower, left and right corners of the image represent the feet. Finally, the last unit with 9 points forms the hat, and the unit with 1 point forms the shoes. These 9 units combine to form the 9 palaces of Lucia. He solves the puzzle and obtains the skull, feeling healed from his previous injuries. He approaches the Beast Lady and asks for the use of the skull. At that moment, the rays come out of the skull and remove all the darkness from the Beast Lady's body. Cinder is impressed and advises the Beast Lady to rest so she can become invincible again, like before. After waking up, he approaches the Beast Lady. Cinder is surprised to see blood coming out of the female panda beast's body. On the other hand, the Fire Tribe is shown, where Aaron, Fire Aru's grandfather, Blaz, and Flam's grandfather are sitting discussing about Cinder's whereabouts. Aaron orders Fire Aru to send a team of hunters into the mountains as quickly as possible. When Blaz's grandfather asks if they looked everywhere, his thoughts are that Cinder is naughty, so he must be hiding somewhere to play a trick on them. But Aaron tells him that they've already looked everywhere for him, and that Cinder might not have come from the mountains last night. Aaron fears that Cinder may have fallen into the darkness, and if that happens, he could die. Flam's grandfather, Softy's grandfather, calms them down by saying that they still don't know if Cinder came from the mountains last night, and even if he remains in the mountains, he is smart enough to escape the darkness. Blaze's grandfather shouts that there's no point in sitting around talking. They should immediately send the hunting team into the mountains. Aaron stands up, agreeing with him, while Fire Aru and Flam's grandfather continue to sit, thinking, and a horrible smile appears on Flam's grandfather's face. Stinder is constantly trying to stop the female panda beast from bleeding, but is unable to, even after the darkness is dispelled. If the bleeding continues, it will be a problem for the panda beast, so he decides to go out and look for something to stop the bleeding and replenish his strength. He goes out, gathers some high-stick herbs, picks some fruit, and collects water to drink. When he returns, he is surprised to see a panda cub there. He realizes that the female panda beast was in labor, and that's why she was able to resist the darkness. He offers her the fruits so she can replenish her strength, when suddenly the cub, turns into a healthy and complete panda. The panda cub sits on Cinder's thigh and he murmurs to him, showing him to the panda beast and saying that this cub will also be strong, just like her, in the future. He grew so much in the blink of an eye. The mimosa panda beast licks its son, and upon seeing its mother, the cub also takes out its tongue. Cinder begins to tell the stories of the panda beast to the cub, saying that he should grow up strong like his mother, and that his mother is called the queen of the beasts. He is so immersed in talking to the cub that he doesn't notice the panda beast's condition. He goes on to say that when his mother recovers from her labor pains, the hill tribe will know her end. The cub doesn't understand, but he still goes on about how he hasn't tried bamboo yet, and they will have a bamboo feast when his mother recovers. He looks back at the panda beast to ask about it, but seeing his condition getting worse, he becomes worried. He notices that her heartbeat is slow, but he suddenly remembers that he brought some medicinal herbs from outside. Using them, he can treat her and begins to make medicine. He is so confused after seeing the panda beast's condition that he doesn't know what to do. The cub comes after him and calls out to him. Cinder tries to calm him down, saying that her mother will be fine, that he will make the medicine that will cure her, but she also has the idea that she can't do anything. He tries his best to hold back his tears because he has a cub to take care of. The panda beast comes after him and loves his cub. The cub also spoils his mother in return. Cinder doesn't understand if he is explaining it to her or to himself, saying that she will be fine and nothing will happen to her. After showing the cub some love, the panda beast gives the cub to Cinder. Seeing this, Cinder becomes emotional, as she will trust him to take care of her cub. He determines that she can trust him, that he will heal her, as tears also fall down her cheeks. He says Dara's ritual, trials of mountains and seas were not difficult for him, so he can also cure her. He has a little faith that he will go out and bring her herbs. She just needs to wait a little, and with a simple lick on Cinder's face, the panda beast goes to eternal sleep, leaving Cinder crying. Cinder begins to think, as she cries, that everything is his fault. He remembers the last time he told the panda beast that he would come back the next day, and he didn't. Cinder still hopes that she is alive, and makes her a promise that if she wants a bamboo party, he will give her all the bamboo shoots she wants, but all in vain. The cub approaches him and licks his nose, reminding Cinder that he still has the cub, which is the panda beast's last request. He has determined that even if he cannot save the beast, he will teach the people who harmed it a lesson. He holds a grudge against the priest.